Hey everybody, you're listening to the Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk, and with me as always is the Mr. Gimpy.
Chip, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, bro?
Oh man, it's like preparing for winter over here in the Gimpy household.
This winter's coming, dude.
Yeah, you can see kind of. So we're pulling out we pulled out all our Halloween decorations and stuff, and you can kind of see like behind me
You do it big for Halloween?
This is the basement. I do it big for Halloween.
Do you get trick-or-treaters out there?
We don't actually. So my house is like
you just have a haunted house out in the middle of the
burbs. It's so
nobody's coming out there.
It's behind like all the other houses, so no one and like it's dark, so no one like wants to walk up the sidewalk to our house.
Man.
Like our porch is lit, but you have to walk down like a dark sidewalk.
Nobody's taking those. Parents don't take risk at Halloween with their kids, dude.
True.
It's not like back in the day where they're like, yeah, just go out, take the big ones, take the small ones, have fun out there.
Yeah,
not everyone's like
anymore.
Yeah, so like the parents are helicopter parents.
Yeah,
I had the same situation at my old place. Like the house was a side entrance.
Yeah,
and when I first got, I was so excited. I was like, finally, I'm gonna have trick or treaters. About all this candy, dude. Nobody showed up, not one kid, because it was like a weird, shady side entrance to a house.
Yeah.
And then I had like 8 pounds of candy. I was like, well, I guess this is my snacks for
I'm prepared to make the sacrifice.
Yeah, I threw it all in the freezer and just ate it a little at a time, and we got through it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, me.
Plus, my kids are young enough where I'm never home for Halloween either. You know, we're always out trick or treating. We do it big. So, but it's good. You know, we got the decorations up. I got to put everything away.
So what's going on in the basement there?
So I like rearranged, like, so we have Halloween decorations out now, and then we do like a small Thanksgiving thing right after. Yeah. So we set the seasons up. So, but the big one is obviously Christmas. So the trees on deck. We got all the lights. How dare
you, bro?
Deck.
Did they get to you, bro? They already started hitting. You know, we're in a down economy when they start hitting you with the fucking Christmas advertisements. Like October 1st,
my wife absolutely loves decorating the house, like seasonal decorations.
I
just had to get like
so weird flex, but okay. My auntie is like that too, dude. She goes big on everything, and they're like, "Damn, this is great! Like, I love it. I love the whimsy." But I was like, "It's a bit much."
It's a bit much.
She goes hard, dude. She's like 5 Christmas trees, dude. Each one with a different theme.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. They go hard. It's nice. It's like really nice.
Two mini ones outside.
Yeah, see, you're going hard too, bro. You're like, yeah, but they're not inside yet.
Yeah, we got an outside outlet over the summer, so I could actually do Christmas lights outside for the first time. Which I didn't get a ladder, so I should probably got that too when I put the lights up outside. But I figure if I go out early enough before it snows, I'll just go out the window onto the roof and just.
Ladders are always crazy expensive, bro. So it is what it is.
Yeah, right.
No, you have to do it, but like it's just they last forever. But damn, they're expensive.
I mean, my parents have one, and they live 20 minutes away from me, so I'll probably swipe one. But if need be, so we'll see.
Don't do it, bro. Just spend your money, dude. Be an adult. Get your own ladder.
Nah, dude. Best ladder, someone else's ladder.
It's true. There's only 5 ladders in the world, and they're all just kind of on rotation.
Exactly. But yeah, dude, it's been a good time over here. You know, like the kids are excited for Halloween. You
guys do
Halloween
like
all the time, and
any do-it-yourself decorations? Like you're creating little pumpkin drawings or something?
Oh, I mean, outside of carving pumpkins,
starting fires.
Back here, you can see like some of the kids' drawings hanging up now. They're back there. It might be a little far for the camera because they. Yeah. But they made some drawings and stuff too. So we're living it up a little bit.
You 3D print any decorations in there?
No. There's.
I've been subliminally sending you like more and more like DIY like 3D printing stuff. I'm like, hey, you can make your own flight stick. Did you know that? Like if you just. It seems basically easy, very trivial to do with your own 3D.
Right. It hasn't been quite subliminal, brother. It's been heavy-handed.
It's been super heavy-handed.
Yeah. So the one thing I am currently 3D printing, there's a new Hellraiser movie. It's a reboot, actually. It's actually really, really fucking good. It's been a long time since a Hellraiser movie has been good. The only truly good ones are the first 2. So this reboot was a pleasant surprise. So I am currently printing the puzzle box, which is called the Lament configuration. So I'm printing that currently, just to have like a little piece of uh, of Hellraiser fandom in my house. So that's really all it's printing right now. That should be done. What time is it now? About 2 hours from now. So
nice. You got that to look forward to.
Yep. So it's like one where you can actually solve it. So that's pretty interesting. It's not quite what the movie is because that thing's ridiculously complex, but
it's like CGI, bro.
Tangible. No. It's
a practical effect.
It's a practical thing.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. Like the OG one. This is the OG one. So yeah, but good shit. So with that, man, I gotta say, usually I play like nothing but horror games on stream, and that's been good. I started
through October or just always, because I played some October. Risk of Range.
Yeah, through October.
Ever get that VR plug-in for Risk of Rain too?
I did. Did you not try it?
How's that? I saw it. No, like I remember you telling me that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I got it. And then I was like watching like the top VR mods. You gotta try. And then I was like, Risk of Rain has this? I have that game. I haven't done this.
It's incredible. We should do a run, bro.
Oh yeah, VR run.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's probably one of the better VR like flat screen to VR mods. Truly, it's really good. Nice. Also, the Resident Evil mods for VR are really fucking good too. Like,
did you see any of this?
Before, but they're great.
They're great, man. They're free. There's like YouTube videos on how to set them up. I almost did that at one point. I still don't want to poop my pants, dude. Like it seems too scary for me. Like I usually don't.
Sometimes you just got to put a diaper on and go for it, brother.
All right, get an adult diaper, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's madness,
or to shit yourself. I mean, you're an adult, dude. Just wash your clothes.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Just throw it in the community washing machine.
The best time to shit yourself is when you live alone, dude. No one can judge you,
dude.
You never have to bring it up in conversation, dude.
Yeah, nobody will know, dude. Right, if you don't tell anybody,
except people on this pod. When I'm like, "Hey, Chip, how's it been?" And
then you're like, "Damn, I shit myself, bro." Like you wouldn't believe.
Then everyone will know.
Resident Evil got me, dude. Emptied my bowels.
I feel our listeners will appreciate that. They appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
They come here for the pure honesty that we give.
That's fair, bro.
That's what it is, man. But yeah, dude, I think that you owning VR, some of the best VR games are actually horror games, and not in terms of just like effectiveness of scaring you, but in terms of immersion. Horror games do a very good job of building a world for you. Like next weekend I'm going through the Exorcist game and the Paranormal Activity game, which I've heard good things about both. My wife is actually just dreading this moment of me playing these two games. She doesn't really care so much about the Paranormal Activity because she even thinks those movies were kind of boring, but I've heard the game is great. But the Exorcist one, who kind of has this like mystique behind it of being like quote unquote scariest movie of all time.
Yeah.
So like the game just my wife's like, "You're really gonna play this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, why not?"
I was just talking with my coworker about this the other day, where she was talking about the Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, it's definitely like a time and place type of movie, like it's because it came out as like found footage, but it's like pre-internet, so like like the internet was there.
Footage. It was the first. Truly found movie that was.
I'm saying like the internet wasn't what it was today, so it's like nobody really knew. Like people were freaking out when that thing came out, like in theaters, and like, oh no, somebody needs to go find these kids, man. This is wild. Why are they putting this like snuff film on the big screen? This is crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas like now you have like Paranormal Activity and stuff, and you're like, oh no, this is a movie. This isn't both. Like you can't really just get away with like shenanigans anymore.
Yeah, now it's a suspension of disbelief too. The Paranormal Activity did it very interestingly, where they used the actors' real names, and then so I thought that was interesting. I think the movies have interesting parts about it, but just none of the horror stuff really worked for me. Like but that is what it is. I'm very critical of a lot of horror movies. As far as the found footage genre, I really only like probably 3 movies from that. Cloverfield being one.
Do you consider like the OG Ghostbusters a scary movie?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you could consider it a horror comedy, but I think more than anything, it's just a
Comedy.
comedy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely there's like possession and all that, but
You said
it's
you liked
played
the new
for laughs.
Ghostbuster one with the
I,
ladies.
no, no, I did not say
What? I'm pretty sure that was you,
that.
bro.
No, I
You
did
said it
not
was
say
all
that.
right.
No, I don't think so.
It's Chris
Uh,
Hemsworth.
yeah, the movie was. I thought it got so much. Thought it got a ton of hate for no reason. I thought it is what it is. Like it wasn't gonna be good,
I thought
no
it was
matter
okay.
no matter where you slice it.
I
It
didn't think
was
it was great, but like, there's definitely like a couple moments where I chuckled.
people put Ghostbusters on a certain pedestal. So
The only
them doing that,
actress in there that I thought did a great job was the one lady, the only black one. All right, that's the only nice way to say
Leslie
it.
Jones.
Yeah, Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
She did great, dude. Like out of all the bits, like where they're like running around the theater and she's like fucking around in the basement, dude. Like that was great. Like that scene, I was like, this is all right.
It's great because we're probably one of the only people who've seen that movie. So you're explaining it,
No,
and we're all like, "We didn't watch that fucking shit." I'm like,
yeah, you
no,
don't have to. Like, it's not. You're not missing out if you haven't seen it. I wouldn't recommend it.
The Paul Rudd one was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I just don't. Afterlife. I haven't seen the Afterlife yet.
Oh, you should. It's
yeah. Solid. I've watched the one with the lady, the 2016 one, like 3 times now, maybe 4.
I think the big.
I watched it. Okay, listen. I watched that movie 4 fucking times. All right, I watched it once because I was like, "Oh, new Ghostbusters. Let me check this out." And then I watched it a second time because like all the internet hate was coming out. I was like, is there some shit I missed? Yeah. So I went back and like watched it again. I was like, no, it's still like just a very mediocre movie. It's nothing like really bad or egregious. Like, sure, a lot of the jokes don't really land, but like humor is very subjective. So it's hard to be like, oh, this is going to be fun. I was like, I just always looked at it as more for children. And I know Ghostbusters got into the kids game back in the day when they did like the cartoon. It was like after they started selling like Happy Meal toys and fucking.
I love that 80s movies did not give a fuck about the content of the movie. They're like, this is probably for kids. I mean, we got Bill Murray running around calling dude dickless the entire movie. You know what I mean? It's like RoboCop too, like just super violent as fuck. It's like, yeah, no, it's a kid's toy.
Yeah, so we can sell this. Kids want the RoboCops. They're like, what the fuck, dude? Ed 309s, just rolling around.
Right?
Yeah, it's nuts. It was a different time. It was
a different time,
simpler time.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Ghostbusters. What were we talking about?
Yeah, it was a tragedy.
It just kind of was.
I'll say that wasn't terrible. Like it got like a lot of weird internet hate.
Ghostbusters VR game coming, co-op.
Yeah. The old fun. VR game was supposed to be like the spiritual successor, like the third movie that they never got to make. That sold really well. Like it came out in 2006.
The video game.
Yeah. Ghostbusters, the video game.
You said VR game, man.
No, video game.
Yeah.
You think
of
VR.
No, that was fun. That was fun. But
yeah, sold like 1 million copies.
I am excited to like take a fucking the capture thing, just throw it down underneath the ghost and have like a couple of my buddies just not crossing the streams, getting ghosts in. That'd be fun, man. That's what I wanted for Phasmophobia, man. Like I was like, oh, just make a Ghostbusters, like fuck it.
Yeah, you're this close. Just make it happen.
Just give me the.
I don't know. They tried to make that like the big closing tentpole at that last Meta conference, where they're like, and we have Ghostbusters. Like Zuck came out, he's like, and Ghostbusters, and I was just like, I'm not that excited. Like, I don't know. Like it feels.
I mean, like it's just an image,
I think this is all for the kids who grew up with the cartoon.
The movies, like I feel the cartoon's not as remembered as well as the movies, though. Like the movies were huge, dude. I mean, among a certain generation, dude, those were like the movie. Like I think for us, that was a similar thing as Men in Black, the first one. Yeah, remember how big that was? Like in elementary school. Here
comes the Men in Black,
dude. I fucking still love that movie, dude. It's like a big tentpole, man.
I was just talking about Men in Black the other day, bro.
It was great, dude.
It's still coming up in conversation.
Yeah, dude. Naturally.
Naturally, not forced or anything, dude. Just like,
dude. I mentioned the noisy cricket the other day because my son kind of is. He saw a clip of Squid Game, right? So he's unfortunately like the red light, green light portion. I don't know if you've seen the show, but
no,
it's like these robots that turn around and they play red light, green light, and everyone who's still moving, they shoot them. So I saw a clip of that, courtesy of my mother, who I was pissed about. But
Up in this poor child's mind. The red light, green light's a time favorite children's game, and now you've scarred this kid for life.
Right. So he sees like guns and shit. Right.
Yeah, dude.
So we're gonna
red light, green light. He's just gonna start screaming and running out of the building.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're trying to kill me. You're like, yeah, son, slowly through institutional knowledge.
The thing is, he wants to shoot people is the problem. So
yeah,
damn it. So we're seeing he sees like this giant gun, like Nerf gun in the store. We were at Target, and he goes, "Daddy, can I get this?" So it's like, no, son. I was like,
no guns.
You could get the noisy cricket. I gave him like a little tiny gun. He obviously hasn't seen Men in Black, so he didn't get the joke, and I'm just fucking laughing to myself.
It's dad jokes, dude.
It is dad jokes, man. It happens, brother. It happens. Oh shit, bro! But
do you see the other VR Oculus announcement?
The $1,500 headset. Yeah, you want to jump into that?
I don't know, man. Like, when did
I feel selling like, this too, dude?
Is this an American thing, dude? Because I feel like we all feel like everything's for us, right? Like, it's like a prosumer thing. I could see like schools maybe trying to do something for like the kids, like a little tour. I don't know, dude. The government has a lot of money that we're spending on kids' education. It's like an absurd amount of money. Like, it's a lot. It's like 30 G's per kid, dude. Like, it's not like a trivial amount of money that's like in our
I don't know, dude.
education system
right now, and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you don't see it because it goes into like the walls, the buildings, the teachers, the administrative costs, the buildings, everything else that goes into check the curriculum, buying books, like everything's licensed out. Yeah, there should definitely be like, listen, I'm not saying like it's right. I'm saying there should definitely be like an open source, like textbook style knowledge. Everything like papers are open. The research that's done for like colleges should be available to like the taxpayers that fund it without like extra cost. There's definitely a lot of problems. I'm saying they have the money to buy VR headsets if they wanted to. I think it's also for like weird legacy businesses that want to help people who are telecommuting to be like, oh, for like an hour a day, we can meet up in the metaverse or something, like to help team building. There's a lot of money in business to business enterprise level stuff. $1,500 is a lot of money to us, but it's not to like, a big corporation like Microsoft or Facebook or, like a lot of like even mid-cap businesses that are making like hundreds of millions of dollars, dude. It's a small dent in their budget. There's no like big killer app, but like I guess like the nub at the end of like the thing to help ride like a little bit more freedom of movement. It now has like pass-through vision. They basically made your glasses that you bought with the TV screens in them, dude.
Here's the thing though, like the only like business application I see for VR is like engineering. Right. Like, I have a buddy who's an engineer who actually, where he works, they have HTC Vives to help with like the prototyping and like the phase actually. And he said that actually has made it so much easier to get an idea to production. He said
since like architecture
has increased. Yeah, like architecture would be great. Like, you could do virtual walkthroughs of buildings that don't exist yet. Things like that. I think are great. Medical applications too. They're using it for like treating Alzheimer's patients, giving people excuse me, who are like paraplegic or something with or who can't leave their bed. They're letting them have these virtual experiences. So I think there's definitely applications for it, but I don't know like what Zucks offering does that other cheaper alternatives that already exist don't. The true
like you could give them like a nice like tablet, like I feel like like VR is a great experience, but like you said, there's nothing that you can't get through like other things. Like you give people like a really nice smartphone and they have like access to the internet and like communication with other people and stuff, like even like business to business, where it's like, we're already using like some sort of like webcam service. Like we don't need to get like virtual, like there's no value add really.
I think to most people you're right, but I think one of my favorite parts of VR, like when we played games together, like when we played that beat 'em up game, Path of the Exile,
Path of the Warrior,
throwing
Path of Exile is a completely different game.
Yeah. throwing an enemy, right? Like I grappled him, I threw him across the room. You were there and just started punching him. You know what I mean?
I threw
like,
a guy to a sewer alligator.
Yeah. And then when we played Swords of Gargantua, right? Like I'm like, Chip, there's a guy behind you, you know, and I'm throwing like my fucking daggers at him, saving your life, you know. You can actually like physically duck, and we're like, you know what I mean? Like there's something to be said. I think, especially when you're playing like co-op stuff with friends like that, it's more immersive because we could be doing this shit together in real life. You know what I mean? Like
this is one of the, I think it was like episode 1, we talked about how hard it is to show people like how immersive and fun these experiences are. Like you just have to experience it like yourself to like actually understand. It's like you have like some sense of it. Like I always had it, I'm like, yeah, I get it, whatever. And then like you have it in your face and you're like, oh shit, like this is actually decent now. Like I think we all kind of grew up with like all the gimmicks and bullshit like throughout the 90s of like really bad VR. Like and like this finally starts to nail it. They're trying to do stuff with like augmented reality. Like I don't know, man. Like they need like a killer software that like helps everybody. And like I guess they have some stuff, but what I'm saying is it's not for the consumer, dude. It's like weird that like we live in a time where like me and you are like, well, I would never buy this. It's like, yeah, bitch, it was never for you. Like it's like the 4090s that you, like Nvidia just dropped, like the RTX. Like people are like, oh, this is $1,500, dude. I'm not buying this for my computer rig. It's like, yeah, bitch, it's not for you. It's like for like people who are like mining cryptocurrency, doing like AI generation, doing like high level video production, audio encoding, engineering for like we're running mathematical simulations of like water and particles. I think gamers live in a bubble, like where we think like, oh, it's all about gamers. It's like, no, like if anything, video game companies are
market to, truthfully, but it's not.
Yeah, they're definitely pushing the industry forward. Like everything really goes back down to like entertainment pushes technologies forward, and you could interpret that any way you want. Me personally, I always find it's porn. Porn's usually pushing technology forward. They're the ones adopting like Blu-rays, DVDs, MP3, like anything to like.
The first VR movie was porn, so
yeah, they really are pushing the envelope of technologies to like be on the precipice of entertainment, for whatever that's worth. But that being said, like I don't think people want to be in like a VR bubble. So this RTX stuff, it's like for businesses, man. That's the reason why it's like $1,500. It's for like people whose businesses need like a very strong backbone on their like each computer. I don't know. Like it's so weird to me, dude. Like
I've been listening to consumption for me is just like, why? You know, like everyone's like, oh no, power consumption's gonna go with all these graphics cards being more powerful and stuff too.
Yeah.
I think we're at like the point where just a discovery in power and like power requirements needs to be made. Like, do you remember when CPUs were just getting like bigger and bigger? It's like, oh yeah, you need to have more. Like now it's like more pins, right? And all that shit. And then finally someone was all like, why don't we just make it smaller? You know, like we have nanotech now. So
yeah.
I think that the graphics card industry needs to go through a change like that, because I just feel like the 4090 needs like a 1200 watt power supply to run it. That's fucking
something
ridiculous
like that.
to me. You know what I mean? Like
it's not for you though.
The early 2000s though. Remember, like 1000 watt power supplies were pretty common. I just think that's a little ridiculous. You know, like definitely see the power and stuff, but I think that it wouldn't hurt to go to the drawing board and not have to release a video card every year. Maybe hold off for a little bit until your shit's right.
Hitting like a weird point, and I'm not going to call it the singularity. I'm going to call it like a 0 point, the own nothing and be happy point, because like these things are now only like industrial grade equipment. There's no longer like a real like competitor out there for a consumer grade electronics. Like everything's gone to like the prosumer. Like all the kids out there, they want to be YouTubers or whatever else out there is Twitch streamers. And all that requires like a fairly mid-end computer. Like you need like high-end stuff to like encode stuff. So there's people out there. I don't know. Like I was listening to like Linus Tech Tips, and he was like, nobody's going to be buying these cards. I'm like, bro, like on Steam, like the average person's using like a 1060. So I always like they always bring out these weird unfair comparisons. Like everyone's rocking 3090s, and it's like you wouldn't want to upgrade. It's only a 50% increase from the best graphics card ever that we've ever produced. It's only 50% better. And I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking incredible. First of all, like that's insane. Like there's never like a technological leap like that. This is they used to call it tick and talk. You know, unfortunately, you know, now we have TikTok, but tick was like a small incremental improvement, which is why you have like the slices, like the 30, 90, 80, 70. And then a talk was like a full generational jump, which is like now the 40 series. So going from like from one talk to another talk, the big jump, like it's never been like a 50% jump up like that.
Each iteration, true.
Yeah.
From the 20 series to that's true.
And so people are like complaining, they're like, it's only 50% better. And it's like, all right, first of all, that's an extremely unfair comparison because everyone's using 1060s. And from a 1060 to a 4090, it's like a 680% increase. Like it's not like a small amount. Like, you know, the 1060s rocking like 29 FPS on those same benchmarks that this is getting like 209 FPS. And, you know, it's like the encoding times are like ridiculous. Like if you have a 1060 trying to encode like video, it's going to be like 40 hours. With this thing, it's like 3 minutes. Like it's like you know, so it's like how much is, you know, 3.5 hours of your time worth, like when you're in development of, you know, processing like your video, trying to hit deadlines, or like just even doing iterative work on your like whatever you're doing, like video. The main use case I can think of, 3D work, video. It's definitely like a productive system. It's not for video games. I would say like 1060 you're fine with. I was talking with a dude and he was like, yeah, I have a 1060 and I don't think I'm going to upgrade anytime soon. I'm like, yeah, you could probably hold out for like 5 more years. You'll be fine. But we also see like most video game companies are going for like the lowest common denominator of like graphics and stuff now.
Well,
like their goal is the mobile phone market. It has been for a while. You see this, like every major company is like just aiming for a mobile device at this point. And now we see like Xbox getting into that space and PlayStation with like their streaming services for their games. So, yeah, I don't know. Like not everything's for you, bitch. Like chill out. Like everyone's like, I can't use a 4090. This is crazy. And it's like, yeah, it is, dude. Like this would be like me crying about like not being able, like having an industrial like oven, you know, for like a restaurant. Cause like if you ever wonder when you try to make Chinese food at home, you're like, how come like if I buy a wok, it doesn't like taste as good? It's because like it doesn't get anywhere near as hot as an industrial like butane spewing like gas fire oven, dude. It's not even close. But like you don't need that. Like you don't need to put it like you know, restaurant level equipment in your home. You know, it would be nice, but it costs money to do it. You don't need a $60,000 fridge, bro. You don't need a walk-in freezer.
That is Chris Rock goes, you know, it's like me and Rihanna's panties. Like I wasn't invited. You know,
you know, it was never you, man. It was not going to be you. You're not that guy, buddy. Trust me.
Right.
Oh man, you have any thoughts on Nvidia's new card, the 4090?
I think that.
Do you think it's not going to sell? They're going to have to lower prices for us gamers so we can rise up. No. Yeah, exactly. These things are fucking moving like hotcakes, dude. Like, I don't know, like, where they're getting their fucking numbers from, dude. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. They're up, like, I looked at their sales because I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm really misinformed. So I looked at, like, their last sales from, like, over the last 4 years. They're up, like, 250% in sales. So I'm like, okay, if you're saying that maybe they only do half as good as they've ever done ever, like, yeah, maybe they only sell, like, you know, 100, like instead of hitting 250% net sales.
It's because they're the industry leader in the AI generation, and the RTX cores are fucking second to none. AMD Fidelity and Intel's current options for RTX lighting are actually really great. They're moving the industry forward because they're both open source. They're both applicable to every device. It's not just locked to a certain card. Great. Why do we have that? Because Nvidia took the first step with their custom cores. And right now,
they started looking for niche markets. Like they got approached by like a scientist who was doing research, and he was like, hey, is it possible to do this? And they're like, hold on, we'll get back to you. And then they worked on, they made it happen. And they're like, oh, there's a whole scientific industrial industry where you're not tapping into with this market. Right now, it's like cryptocurrency too, where they're like, "Oh, I guess we could tap into this market."
Real-time lighting has been a thing in 3D film for decades.
Yeah,
You know, like RTX isn't new. It's just more accessible to everyone else. You know, that's the thing. Like Final Fantasy Spirits Within, the movie came out in like what 98, 99, something like that. Maybe 2000, but that used real-time lighting. It wasn't baked in. So, you know, where that was 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like we're just now getting the consumer, like general consumer, into it.
Used to take like servers to like make it happen. You know, now it's like, oh, if it's on a card you can put in like your house.
Yep.
And people are like, this is bullshit, dude. Who's going to buy that? Who would buy,
True.
you know, a data center's worth of processing power for their computer? And you're right, dude. Like most people do not need that. Like it's absurd, but there's enough people who will buy it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing with Nvidia that's kind of why people are upset was also how they treat their partners. Like EVGA, you know, famously left them and said, "You guys are assholes. Fuck you. We're out."
Yeah,
which is pretty big for a company to say. You know, like they're known for their. They probably had the best, you know, partner Nvidia cards of any provider.
Yeah.
Truly. You know, so that's going to be a void felt through gamers. But Nvidia, like you said, only game in town. So what are you going to do? You know?
They're making it happen, dude. Like, and like every big corporations like that. We've talked before, like notoriously how like Walmart does that, where they're like, every year you have to shrink your margins by like this amount, like this percentage. And it's like extremely unrealistic. It's like, it basically makes it so like the person providing the goods like ends up having to take out like a substantial amount of debt to even try and keep up with like their scaling.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible business practices, but like that's the way we live now. The magic
capitalism, baby.
Yeah, that's mega corporations. Like we always got to keep getting better margins, keep improving.
People are so excited for like cyberpunk stuff. They're like, "Oh man, we're in the years of cyberpunk shit happens." You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what cyberpunk is? It's mega corporations fucking taking over the world, and we're here, baby. We're here.
I mean, you know, we've been getting there for a while, but it's the way it goes.
True.
How do you feel about that new Intel card that dropped?
It's good to have a third party.
Somebody was telling me that it like doesn't necessarily slot into like the PCI Express port. Is that right?
No, I thought it did.
All right. Maybe they said you can.
The new 4090 cards are too damn big. They need supports actually.
So damn big.
But the Intel cards, they're for like the lower end market. They're like designed to compete with the lower end AMDs, the lower end Nvidia cards.
Somebody was telling me like one of the nice things about them is like you can slot them in through an expansion bay and then like just set it to do encoding in the background. So like you can be like, oh, just use this card while you use your other card to do stuff. So I don't know.
Interesting.
That seemed kind of cool.
I think that it'll be nice for like mass production places. Like you could just have a bunch of the Intel cards in and probably play whatever esports oriented game you want on them. You know, fine.
It could be like a side move too. It seems like a lot of these big corporations are trying to not be beholden to any of the competition in like a loose sense, like platforms. Like you see this with like Steam trying to like launch their own Steam Deck. Like they want their own platforms in case Windows decides like, nah, we're not going to let you install anymore, which they could do, right? I'm sure they'd have some lawsuits and stuff on their hands, but like, I don't know if you can knock out your biggest competition for like 6 months while you like go to court. I guess it's pretty huge irreparable damage you could do to your, you know, not competition, but co-opetition, you know?
Right.
So yeah, you see this with like Nvidia with like their drop, like the Nvidia Shield and stuff, where it's like a portable device where they're like, oh, maybe we need our own shit.
Yeah.
You see Intel makes their own computers, Microsoft makes their own stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have like a little backup plan, I guess.
True. That being said, man, I don't think the Intel cards will make a dent in the market. I think it's a nice alternative. We won't see a real dent unless Intel does something like 5 years down the line and they keep improving, keep reiterating. But my fear is we go back to like the mid 90s to early 2000s video card wars where you had like 5 different ones to choose from and driver incompatibilities with like everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go back to the days of like the Voodoo 3 where these Voodoo drivers don't work for this specific game, but then you have like a different like a 3D Mark card or whatever that works with one thing, and it was a shit time. You know,
it really was.
or the Diamond Viper, that was the card that like I had like the Viper series for quite some time, and it's just like because it was compatible with one of the games. I can't remember. It was like Mech Warrior or something like that my dad really wanted to play. He's like, we're getting the Diamond Viper. I'm like, oh no, get the Voodoo, and yeah, shit, it's whatever. But
The shot goes, bro.
I don't want those, man. I don't want those wars.
We've come a long way from that, where we now at least have like agreed upon standards, where it's like, OpenGL or DirectX, where it's like, are you using like this bag? Like we even have Vulkan. This with a little, Vulkan. Different processors also have like standards. Different architectures have standards now. Like even as far as like VR games and stuff, where it's like the back end, like that all has standards.
True.
That they have like conventions where like this is the agreed upon stuff, right? And everyone's like, yeah.
right.
Which is nice. So, at least there's like standards for other people who want to come into the space to try and compete. I don't know, man. Point. I don't know what you bring to the table at this point for people. Like everything's pretty awesome. Like people's biggest complaint is like there's like pro level equipment out there that they can't have. They're like, I would never spend $1,500 on this card.
But that's your own self-imposed sanction, right? Like you can actually do it. It's called save it, motherfucker. Do it.
I don't know. Like if you had just saved $20 since like the 1060 you bought every month, you'd easily have that $1,200 right now to buy this card. Just $20 bills laying around that you've been spending on burgers and cheddar cheese, dude. Living in big. Right, you got the single wraps, dude. You got them single wrap cheeses, dude. Now you don't have no graphics card. But it's also like you could also put an industrial oven, in your kitchen, and then you could do that if that was important to you. But like most people aren't going to do that. Right, it's not like worth it. Like cost wise, everything else, you're like, I don't want to.
The problem is people are complaining about stuff that they can have, but they won't do. You know what I mean? Through a self-imposed like just deterrent through it. It's like I don't want to spend $1,500. How much is your entire computer right now? How much have you spent on your Steam library ever? Right? You kind of have to look at it like that. That's.
I think they're also looking at like
all that.
On the other side of that, though, it's like how many games out there right now are going to actually take advantage of the new shit. Like how many like next gen actual games are out there? It's like a handful. You'd be upgrading right now for like maybe 4 or 5 games that would like really push RTX lighting, 4K or 8K gaming. Like you have to have like a good 4K or 8K monitor as well to even experience that.
It's what I worked in on the other side.
You need a new power supply. So it's like you're going to be upgrading a lot of stuff to like really take full advantage of what you're getting.
When I worked in banking, one of the popular loans for my branch, because everyone knew I was like a gamer, right?
Yeah.
And like all of like the younger, I would always have younger guys come up to me for like loans and shit. Or if they're trying to build their credit, they're like, what should I, they're like, I don't really want to get a car because that's a big purchase. So I was like, well, you should probably do something to build your credit. Why don't you, I was like, what are you doing? And then some people will be like, oh yeah, I play games. I really want a new computer. It's like, take out a loan for it, dude. Just buy all your shit, use the loan for it, pay it off. They're like, why? I was like, well, you qualify for it for one. You were going to buy this computer anyway, and you're saving, right? I was like, just take the money you're saving, pay off the loan, but you already have the computer. That's kind of one of the things they did.
Yeah.
So I taught people
build up some credit.
Yeah. So I taught people
put that shit on layaway, dude.
Good credit. That's basically what it is, right? But you have it; it's tangibly there. So I mean, there are ways to get it. People are always like, "Oh, I don't want to drop $1,500." You don't have to. There's other ways.
Just save up.
To do this.
Have like your computer upgrade fund,
loan, all this shit. Right?
Like you're not missing out if you save up over like the next 2 or 3 years. Like prices will come down on a lot of like these high end cards will now become like the mid range cards. A lot of these people still are as well. I think everyone's biggest complaint is like there's no like there.
Whoa, bro, you're lagging, brother. You're lagging.
I'm everywhere.
Damn it.
Did
There
you
you go.
did you lose me?
No, you're back.
Hello.
You're back.
You lost me. And now I'm back again.
All right. Go
Are
ahead.
you lagging? I think you stood still there for a little bit. Get inside my mind, dude. Yeah, I think that's the other main gripe is like there's not those mid-level cards out on the market either. Like we've been in a drought of like 3090s and everything else. But I would say you should be even more high, like excited about like the 4090s because now like everybody who was like using those 3090s for production level stuff, they're gonna move over to the 4090s and they'll free up like the 3090 stock hopefully.
True. I mean, you get that with each new generation of card, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. So that's good shit. Good shit.
The pluses and minuses to it. I don't know. I don't see like the doom and naysayers. They're like, oh, we won. We got them to like recall like the 4080s. It's like, no, you lost because now we're gonna be in a drought even longer for graphics cards, dude. Like this is crazy. Like you want them to flood the market with a bunch of shit. They're like, oh, one has 12 VRAM and one has 16. People will be confused. It's like nobody was confused except for you, dude. Like,
no, here's the confusion was that they named it the same thing. There were two models of 4080s that
which they've always done, dude. They've done this bullshit for a while, dude.
No, they have not, because then they would have been the 70 series. Or like they had the 70 and the 80. They had the
just put a sticker on the box, dude. Nobody gives a fuck, bro. Just put like this is like slightly different.
No,
just be like this one.
That's the problem.
I've heard people say that they need to actually.
That is anti-consumer.
The whole box is anti-consumer, bro. They don't put any of the specs on the box. So it's like if you go into a store and like pick up one of those RTX boxes, and you're like, how many CODA cores are in this? What's the power draw? Like none of that shit's like readily available like on the box. So you need to like know what you're doing before you even get to the store, like to be able to like look up the specs, dude. The whole thing, like we need fat people to complain, dude, because they're getting shit done. Like they're getting labels put on food. Yeah, dude. Oh. Like when you buy food now, it says like on it, like how many calories like on the front, dude. That shit never used to be there. Fat people are getting shit done. Do we need that for Nvidia? We need fat people to be like, well, I don't know how many CUDA cores is in here. I need to know the power wattage and the VRAM and the clock speeds. How many cores are in this bitch? Like, just give me a nice spreadsheet on the back of the box. That's what I want. Give me my nutritional facts from my graphics card, dude. I want a chunky boy.
I don't know, man. I haven't bought a computer part in person in over a decade. No, I can't say that. I bought a power supply.
It's a weird flex, but okay.
No, my other one died. Right?
Well. Looks like when your power supply goes dry, you be walking down the miles, bro.
But I get all my shit online, right?
Yeah.
As far as spec stuff, it's on the online page.
Yeah, that's on you if you don't go down there to like check out what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I feel like we're in the minority though, bro.
Or is this just how you should be buying a shit now? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
I definitely feel like we live in a buyer beware society now, where like things are less and less consumer friendly.
True.
And like these corporations keep pushing the envelope for like what they can get away with. So you see like a lot of people getting bamboozled, but were they really? Because all the information was there. They just chose not to, spend the time. Like if you're spending more than $1,000 on anything, you should really do some research. Yeah. You should spend more than 10 minutes of like an impulse purchase to be like, oh, maybe this is what I want. Maybe spend at least like 3 hours, take a nap on it, dude, like wait a day and then be like, yeah, all right, maybe I will buy this now. Let
me ask you this. So when I built this current computer, I was saving up for a few months, because what drove me was the real-time lighting of the 20 series cards, right? I'm like, this looks great, and there was a couple of games that came out where I'm like, I need to see what this looks like,
Yeah.
So I'm looking at myself, I was at a point where it was just my daughter. She was born, but everything's kind of going towards the kid and raising her, so I'm like, I haven't done anything for myself for a while, so I was like, I'm gonna upgrade my computer, right? So I ended up building a completely new one.
Yeah.
So I got the RTX 2070 Super, got a high refresh rate monitor, and new processor, a whole 9 yards, right? How long did it take me to do it? Probably 2-3 months of saving, because I was pretty aggressive because I'm like, okay, here's how much money I have left after paying all my bills and plus entertainment, right? Because my wife and I used to go to the movies every week, and other shit, so I didn't compromise everything. It was just like the frugal, or just like the piddly shit that I would just waste my money on. It was like, that's just going on the computer now. It wasn't that big of a deal. I feel like people, it's just a personal finance issue, right? Like sure, you can't, like, people are like, I can't afford this. I that's a real thing, right? But
yeah, man,
I always find that you have something left aside. Most people have something left aside, right? If you're one of the people who are like,
I don't think so, bro. In this recession, bro,
overdrawing your bank account like each week, like, this isn't for you. But if you're someone who just like, lives real lean, like before between paychecks, $10, $20,
yeah,
like,
this shit adds
longer,
up.
but you could get there,
$20 a check, dude. 3 years, bro.
Yeah,
some money.
My sister was one who back in the day when she got paid every week, right? She's like, oh, I only get this much a week. I was like, how much you get paid? She was like, this, and I was like, weekly? I was like,
yeah.
it was like, sure, it's smaller in the short term, but monthly you make this, and then I was like, okay, just take $10 out of each paycheck, monthly,
that's run a budget.
$40 out of each paycheck, I think that's really what it is. I think that the general consumer, or the general, Johnny complainer online, isn't talking about personal finance, isn't thinking about personal finance. He just sees the
Combo Wombo podcast is not a financial podcast.
No,
nor do
fuck
we.
it. I'm going in. I'm going in. Full financial. Sue us, bitch.
It's all Mr. Gimpy. I don't know nothing about this. Yeah, dude. I think everyone's, statistically, from what I've seen, like from surveys, is everyone's really bad with like personal finance. Like, just run a budget, get like a free app that like tracks like where your money's going, or use a piece of paper.
It rounds up your dollars, right, to like a savings account or some shit. Bare minimum,
anything, dude, like anything, because like right now you're probably wasting your money for like a nice high-end thing, or even like a vacation, man. Like $1,500 for a graphics card, you could spend that on a vacation. Like, you could go somewhere pretty fucking nice for like $1,500, and like really go to like a resort and like have a nice weekend or whatever you want to do. Like, go see a historical reenactment, dude. You could do a lot of money with $1,500. You could see a museum, dude. You go
yeah. I'm not going on vacation and see the fucking Battle of Gettysburg, dude.
You might be, bro, if that's what you're passionate about, bro.
Historical reenactment, dude. What?
Dude, you don't know, dude. You don't know these people.
If any fucking listener, if you are going on vacation and you're dropping like nearly $2,000 to see a historical reenactment, you're doing it wrong. Like, don't do that.
You're living your best life.
No, you're not.
Everybody's different. Whatever you're into, dude. We don't.
No, that's
shame
trash.
nobody.
No, I'm shaming you, dude. That's straight trash.
Yeah, I mean, that's some hater, dude. Yeah, this like you just lost our only listener right now, dude. He's like, damn, that was deep.
He wasn't even listening anyway, dude, because he's in his time period reenactment shit, dude.
He puts away all of his electronics when he gets home to reenact living in the 1800s.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's
but yeah, man, like, definitely you should be saving up some money to enjoy. I remember I was talking to my one buddy about finances, and like I was like, yeah, man, make a budget. And he was like, yeah, but then I won't have any money for fun. I'm like, just budget it in, bro. Just budget in your entertainment, bro. Like, it's not having fun, dude. It's just about being like responsible. If you go over that amount, stop. If you're spending more than $200 on booze, bro, maybe cut it down a little bit.
Or maybe make that your booze budget, just like, so you know, right?
Like, if you're dropping more than 200, within a week, dude, like maybe you just pre-game at home,
That's true.
Taking an Uber out there, dude. I don't know. But yeah, you just, I don't know, have a budget for everything you enjoy, and there's no wrong way to do it. Just keep track of where you're spending money. And yeah, dude, it's stupid that we even have to talk about finances for a graphics card. Like $1,500 is a lot of money. You could buy a fucking used car with that. You could go on a vacation. You could buy a flight simulator, dude. You could. I showed you that, the Yaw 2, bro. You could buy a Yaw 2 with that shit. You could get a full 60.
To everybody what the Yaw 2 is.
It's a motion simulator, dude. You hop in it. It doesn't come with this chair. It's got 180 degrees, I think, of rotational freedom. So you can go like swivel around. It's basically a swivel chair with motors. So it reacts to whatever is happening on the game. Yeah, man. There's a few different solutions out there. They're becoming more and more affordable. I was looking at a Pro P3 motion simulation rig.
Numbers and letters, dude. He wasn't looking at
That's
shit.
the Pro 3 degrees of freedom motion simulator where it has like a yaw, a pitch, and a row. And it reacts to like whatever you're doing in a game. I don't know. I was playing Rogue Squadron, dude, in VR. I got my flight sticks out. It's pretty great.
It is great.
I don't know. The setup for that game's kind of shit though. Like I was trying to like redo buttons in the menu, and like it doesn't let you just be like, oh, let me grab my keyboard and mouse for this real quick. It's like, nah, you gotta figure this shit out. We've mapped this to random buttons on your controller, bitch. Figure out which ones they are. And I'm like, God damn, dude.
Yeah. Which joystick did you have again? It was a Thrustmaster, right?
Yeah, Thrustmaster.
They should like if you do a little like this is the thing with the Flight Sim crowd. They also love doing the research, right? So there's always like I know for my Logitech X52 when I was playing that game, there's already a profile that was like perfectly mapped to it. I'm like, click, boom,
damn, I didn't even think to do that.
Yeah,
I went in there, started remapping. I got it down pretty much where I want to. I think the sensitivity is still a bit much for me. At least I think also I have like not the best VR legs too, so it's like a little bit faster. And like I don't know, like I was getting used to it.
I was saying, man, when I first that was the game that like really forced me to get VR, and like I said in a previous episode, man, like almost brought me to tears, man. Just like how like fucking surreal it was being.
Bro, prepare to shit your pants because you could have a yaw too, and you could be inside.
Being in the X-wing, right? My favorite Star Wars vehicle. Like I love the dogfighting in Star Wars. That's actually my favorite part of the entire movie series, I should say. But being like my favorite is the TIE Interceptor. I think it's the coolest fucking thing ever. Being inside that thing and like looking around and seeing like the fucking wings and shit, man.
Did you feel the glass was big enough for you
on the
TIE? Yeah. It felt kind of small to me. Like I thought this would be a little bit bigger. Like it didn't have like the right.
I think the TIE Fighter it's like almost too much, right? You feel exposed in that bad boy.
Yeah, I feel a little like, claustrophobic in there, dude.
It's pretty. I was like, damn, Vader, this is how you do it, huh? You know,
it's it, man.
He's like a 7-foot dude. I'm like, dude, this feels a little cramped.
It's a bit much, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this game's great experience so far.
Yeah, no, it's. I actually need to beat the single player, man. I when it first came out, I played a little bit of the single player, thought it was great, and then just got distracted by the multiplayer and played that till the wheels fell off. But yeah, I should get back to it myself, man. It was good.
Don't do it, dude. It's a rabbit hole you can't go down.
In the older games, like X-Wing Alliance and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and stuff, there are mods to make it more modern in terms of graphics, but also a VR mod as well.
Okay.
And those games have like true co-op.
Oh, sheesh.
Which would be cool. It could be like, red leader, you know what I mean? Just
yeah, man.
do the call outs and shit. So that'd be pretty sick.
Oh, that'd be pretty sick, dude.
Food for thought. I think if one things that I want to try in VR, and I don't know why I'm getting off topic, but it's Gimpy's Dreams, a segment of the show.
Gimpy's Dreams.
If we're both like in like a spaceship or like a fighter jet or something like that, right? We're flying next to each other.
Your dreams are weak, son.
No, let's fully VR, right?
Okay.
Like I could turn to you and look, and then like wave at you or whatever with inside the cockpit. Or like do the Top Gun thing where you flip upside down, and like going like, and then you can see.
Let me tell you about the new Meta Quest Pro. It's full facial tracking.
I think that'd be a really fucking cool thing. Like, I mean, you could already do it. Probably, maybe some of these flight games already do it. I just haven't played a multiplayer.
I don't know, man. I think maybe they're waiting for something like that new Meta, bro. That Pro, where it does have full facial recognition, hand tracking. It's the Pro version, but maybe somebody will make a flight game or patch it in to some of these existing games. I know it's like uses pretty much industry like standard blend shapes. Yeah. Where it's like we all kind of figured out like what key shapes like the mouth make and the face makes. and like most rigs like have something for that.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't put that rig into the actual game. Like most times when you see a cutscene in a video game, it's like separate models. They're specifically rigged for like more articulation. They usually have like, you know, bigger file size and everything else. So it's like you wouldn't see that stuff just playing the game normally. So it's like, why use that model normally? So you usually have like a more simplified version of that without like all the key shapes and blends and stuff for
one of my favorite
player
things
model
ever before Xbox Live had party chat.
Beyond Good and Evil.
To decide, well, that's an amazing game, but to decide what to play, my buddies and I would jump into the demo of an America's Army game.
Yeah.
And when you were talking in that, the mouth moved while you
spoke. Dude.
It was like the coolest shit ever. Games don't do that anymore. When you're talking, your character move. I miss that, dude. That's like one of the things I was like, oh, it's so fucking cool.
Let me tell you about a little game called Rust, bro.
Does Rust move when you're talking?
Yeah, but you have to be in game. I think our biggest problem was we're all on Discord, but if we're talking in game, like the mouth, you know, does a little something.
Damn it, that's awesome. That's cool. It's the little things, man. It's the little things. It
really is. Yeah.
But we're reaching the end of our time, man. So this episode's really just about Nvidia and cost, man. Like,
yeah, not everything's for you, dude. That's the
do you think
title.
The 50 series will be the same iteration? What kind of final thoughts on this? Do you think when we reach next year, do you think that we're gonna have an even bigger card, an even bigger jump, or do you think it'll be like streamlined? What I feel, let me answer that first. What I feel is the 50 series cards will be slimmer. I think that they'll use less power, and I think it'll be a smaller iteration. I don't think the improvements will be vast, but I think the architecture will be more in line with what you expect.
I think coming from me, like I think what they have is going to continue to sell like hotcakes, and they're not going to learn anything. I think they're going to be bigger. They're going to use more power because I think they're realizing like it's not regular ass people using these cards anymore. It's like the people who are out there doing research or crypto mining. I think there's a lot of those people who need a lot of cards. It's not like if you're like doing some mining, you need one card. It's like, I need a rack of these things. I need, 40 or 50. If you're doing like, if you're trying to fold protein strands or like you're doing AI generation for like text or imaging, like you'd like, the more the better. Like I'm using a 3080 and like on stable diffusion right now. And like, it takes like 50 seconds to generate 6 images. And I'm like, if only I could get it faster. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's never fast enough, dude. Like until it's like instantaneous. Where if like I had like a cluster of them and like each one of them was doing it, you'd get within a half a section, like milliseconds, bro. Milliseconds. Oh my God. But yes, I think people like that, bigger businesses, small businesses, like they don't care about the power consumption. They don't care about form factor. A lot of them are throwing them on like homemade racks or like buying a rack for them. And they're buying these things, dude. Like it is what it is. We definitely could use like a consumer grade level, but I don't know if like we're even gonna own anything in the future, bro. Like it definitely feels like everything's going to like streaming services. Like it's getting harder and harder to buy like physical media for like even your movies or games.
Well, the movies are pretty easy. They still release.
I mean, when's the last time you tried to buy a VHS, bro?
VHS, fucking never, dude.
Exactly, bro. You can't do it. You have to go to Goodwill or something, dude. It's the only real form factor you own, bro. They can't take those VHSs from you.
Fucking talking about. I just bought
That's my thoughts on video,
4K
bro.
box set for Evil Dead the other day, dude.
4090s of the VHS of
right,
graphics cards.
Right. Obviously, we've gone too long, and Chip's fucking lost in the sauce.
I'm just trying to tell you guys, you kids, how it used to be.
On that note, this
like,
has been
share, subscribe.
Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Mr. Gimpy. Over there is the doom and gloom.
Chipmunk.
We'll
Store your nuts for winter.
Life. Like, share, subscribe. Later, everybody.
Peace.
Store your nuts.